What's up, YouTube? This is going to be episode 2 in our Clash Royale Road to Top 10K series. And we're going to be going with the same deck as yesterday with the RG Monk. And let's go ahead and get into our first match here. All right. So I do have a log in hand. I'll try not leak too much elixir, place the monk in the back, get the log down. He's going to go for the hero goblins opposite lane. I think the E-Spirit should be decent enough here. And then get a hunter on these minions, skeletons on the hero goblins. And then I'm going to pop monk ability to kill the rascal girl and get some reflection damage on tower. And this seems to be a pretty solid start here. I'll go for my fisherman to get both towers targeting this cannon cart. And that's going to be a full defense there. And I'll go for my monk in the back to not leak elixir. I'm going to try and counter this skeleton barrel with only my E-Spirit to save a little bit of elixir for the counter push. And then go in for a Royal Giant. And then go for my ability, monk ability, and hunter. And honestly, I think I'll just let the hunter clean up here. I was contemplating whether I should log the hero goblin. All right. I'm going to need to try and cycle back to my, I was going to say hunter, but fireball's fine. We do take a decent amount of damage there from the pop, but it's going to be fine. I'll go for the E-Spirit high. And then this fisherman. Get a monk in front. RG. I'm going to wait a little bit. All right, pop my ability now. Try and get a high hunter here. And hopefully we do get an RG hit. I think I'll log that cannon cart. All right. I'm going to actually fireball here, get an E-Spirit down, and then hopefully skeletons up high to kill the cannon cart before it reaches my tower. And then get an RG for his mortar, hunter for the minions. All right, looking good. I'll go for the monk here, no need to use my log. I'll go for the fisherman. And then the log. That was actually some bad skeletons, but hopefully it's gonna all be all right. And all right, the mortar targets my fisherman there. All right, he does use up a lot of elixir there. He does get some solid damage, but that fireball should put him down a considerable amount of elixir. So if I'm able to get the monk in front here. Unfortunately, I do misplace the monk, which is really annoying. But I should definitely still be up elixir, and we're able to get a reflection on the bar barrel, which is really solid. And now I'll get a fireball onto his rascal girls. Try and get a log on all these goblins. I'm going to need to E-Spirit onto his skeleton barrel. Get a mortar down here. And that's going to be game. All right, so that's match 1. I think that yesterday we did 5 matches. I think that probably I'll do maybe like 6 in this session. So hopping into match 2. He has archers, could be Expo, which would be a nice matchup. I'll cycle my fisherman. One tip I like to do is not cycle the fisherman in the very back, because sometimes they may have like giant skeleton, P.E.K.K.A, something that can just pull to the tower, which you don't want. So it is going to be Expo, which is pretty free matchup with RG Monk if you play it safely. He's going to fireball, maybe go for a log as well. All right. He did not go for the log, which is good. It's going to be somewhat of a spell cycly match early on. But once he gets to double elixir and later, I'm going to start going in with my own counter pushes. All right. I'll get my monk low. And then I'm going to wait for the Evo archers to connect and then go for the ability and then get my RG down. He's going to go for a Tesla most likely or some skeletons, so I'll hover a log, get the log down. And if he archers, I'm going to take the fireball on the tower. All right, one RG hit's really good there. Let's cycle the skeletons, get a quick E-Spirit, so hopefully he doesn't log in time. All right, that's good. Gonna go for a fisherman and anti-fireball placement. All right, guys, that was not anti-fireball placement, unfortunately. I don't want to take those night swings, so I'm gonna just log skeletons, and thankfully he does go for an ability. His fireball should be out of cycle, so I'm gonna put the hunter in the back. I'll go in with my RG here, and then I'm going to place a fisherman onto the Tesla. Fireball onto the archers, and that's really solid damage there. I'll get a log down. E-Spirit. And all right, looks like he may have given up, so I'm just going to RG the bridge. And all right, that's a good win, guys. Expo is a pretty easy matchup, but it's always, some possibility to slip up early, but we're able to get the win there. Heading into match 3 now. All right. Could cycle the log. Gonna go ahead and do that. I like to use my fisherman to counter furnaces because it's able to pull the fire spirit and then with the tower's help not take any damage. I get my monk onto his furnace and he does have a balloon, which is pretty dangerous, but hopefully Hunter does take that out pretty well. Okay. This is going to be a matchup that I'm going to need to be careful in. Hunter is pretty much my only counter to balloons, so that's why. I think that I'll probably start a RG in the back because I think after that interaction I may be up a little bit of elixir. I'm not completely sure, but... All right. I'll go for the fisherman onto his Dark Prince. And then hopefully use the monk to tank for the furnace. Those zappies are going to be sort of annoying as well. They do a really good job at shutting down RG, but we are able to get 2 hits out of that, take the damage lead again. All right, and honestly, I think my best move is to put some counter lane pressure because he has no zappies. He does have a mini P.E.K.K.A, unfortunately, and a Dark Prince, so... Alright, that may have actually been a pretty costly mistake there. Because... Alright, we were actually able to get out of that somehow. Except I think we do take a giant skeleton bomb, which is unfortunate. But it could have been worse, honestly. I didn't realize that he had mini P.E.K.K.A, so... I mean, it's a pretty tough matchup. Hopefully my tower retargets here, but the hero balloon ability is able to just take out the hunter pretty easily, which is unfortunate. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be a loss. Not really much we can do into this. Probably that Evo RG that I played was the main mistake, but I mean, with Zappies, mini P.E.K.K.A, it's really hard to break through. Alright, so heading into match 4. Okay, he's going to play the Battle Ram. I'll get a Fisherman down. And then a Log and Monk. Looks like it's going to be P.E.K.K.A Bridge Spam, which is a winnable matchup, but it does require some care to be taken in how you play it. I'll go for a Fireball onto this Ewiz. He's going to go for a P.E.K.K.A in the back, meaning he's up a little bit of Elixir, but let's see how this defense goes. I'm going to Hunter in the back. I'm going to go for the Fisherman and the E-Spirit. And then I need to go for... Alright, thankfully those skeletons were able to redirect the P.E.K.K.A, but I do take some considerable damage on both sides, unfortunately. Alright, the Monk hit there is good. It's going to let me take this Ewiz down with just a Log. Alright, I'll try and get to my Evo Hunter because that's probably going to be a key to getting a successful counter push. I'll probably try and maybe get a Fisherman down onto this Marcher. He might go for the ability, but I think that's fine, honestly. I'll go for a Monk. And surprisingly, I don't know how that worked, but we did activate King Tower. And now is a time where I am going to go in for my counter push. Hopefully I'm able to pop my Monk ability here. And, alright, the P.E.K.K.A gets pulled, which is pretty surprising. I'm going to hopefully try and get a Monk ability down onto the Magic Archer, which is good. And then I need to try and protect this Hunter. Alright, so that was decent. We did take the connection from the Battle Ram again, which is unfortunate. But we were able to do some damage of our own. So I'll start a Monk in the back. Get a Hunter down. E-Spirit. Maybe a Log. And yeah, we do take a hit from the Magic Archer as well, which is really unfortunate. I'm going to need to Fireball it. Yeah, this is not looking the greatest right now. Thankfully, we don't take the charge damage, but still, somehow, he is getting a lot of damage. And honestly, this is pretty desperation at this point, but I'm going to need to try and just get an RG down. And alright, I'm going to need to just try and get another RG down, pull his P.E.K.K.A off, go for a monk ability. Wow, okay. The monk was able to reflect, meaning that we're one fireball off right now. And, okay, wow, that's actually a really good win there, guys. That monk reflection onto his fireball. Whew, that was cutting it close, but let's get into our fifth match here. All right, gonna go for the hunter onto this skeleton barrel. And then I'll try and support with an electro spirit to force out a little bit of elixir. I didn't expect the hunter to kill that. That's why I had went for the fisherman. I'll kite these minions over. Looks like it's going to be a mortar deck, which is a tough matchup, but definitely winnable. We already won one today. I'll pop my monk ability. Go for the log onto the goblins. Hunter onto the skeleton barrel. And then he's gonna... I thought he was going to hero bar barrel again, but he ends up not doing that. I'll go for the fisherman. And then fireball onto all those supporting troops there. And we have a little bit of a counter push with the fisherman. He's probably going to cannon card it. All right, he goes for the bar barrel instead, which is totally fine. All right, I'll monk in the back for the cannon cart. I'm going to cycle his E-Spirit so I can try and pull this cannon cart in and kill it quicker. All right. That is good. I'm going to... I was going to say delayed log, but that's a little bit too delayed, honestly. Thankfully... Oh, I thought I'd pop monk ability. That's really unfortunate because if I had, the minions would have been dead, but unfortunately, it's not registered for some reason. But I'm going to need to start going a little bit more aggressive here. I'll go for the ability, log onto this. And hopefully we're able to get another hit. Yep, 2 hits actually, which is even better. I'm going to need to E-Spirit this for the positive elixir trade, but we do eat a little bit of damage, but it's going to let us go in for a solid counter push here. And I'm going to try and pop this monk ability. Excellent. I'll get a log onto the Rascal Girls. And then honestly, just a fireball onto those minions to clean them up. All right, so we take a solid damage advantage right now. I'm going to need to get back to my log here. And then pop my monk ability, which is going to do a good job of defending the mortar and cannon cart. All right. And then I'm going to need to get another monk down, pop this monk ability. And wow, okay, a lot of damage just came in, but we are still in the lead by a little bit. I'm going to need to get this cannon cart down quickly. And hopefully Hunter does shoot. Okay, so we are down by a little bit right now. So I'm going to need to start going in aggressively here. And he has nothing to stop my Royal Giant. So if I do get a hit there, all right, that's going to be game. Solid game there. And let me actually just check what our exact record is. I'm not sure if we played 5 matches, but I'll just confirm that real quick. Okay, so we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all right. So let's get one more match in for the 6th match and call it a day. All right, here we go. I'll match that Hunter. This could be an RG mirror match, but generally people don't run the Monk variant, so I do have a slight advantage if that's the case. I'll go for this and then catch his bar barrel. All right, I'll go for a fisherman here, which might not be the best play, but I didn't really know exactly what to place. I'll go for the fireball onto his skeleton dragons. And all right, yeah, it's definitely looking like RG. I wonder if he'll go in for an RG right now. All right, he will. Okay, so we are going to take a little bit of damage here, but if I'm able to get an RG for my own counter push, he's going to have no fisherman, and if he hunters, I'm going to be able to... Yep, okay, that's like actually a really buggy interaction, but somehow the hunter still targets the monk, which is really good. And even though he pulls it to the center, I'm still going to get a lot of his tower down. One more hit, really good. I think what I'll do now is let his fisherman target my tower and then place my own fisherman. Excellent. This is going to force a slight counter push. I mean, give a slight counter push for me. I'll put these to the side. Try and log that bar barrel back. Okay, so there, he does do a decent amount of damage there, but we still have a sizable lead. And thankfully, I'm able to get the fisherman down in time, which prevents my hunter from getting, my monk from getting trapped, I meant. Let's go for all these supporting troops here, and then we're able to catch his fisherman, thankfully. And all right, I think that I'll just go in for my own RG now to try and get a solid counter push in and confirm his tower down. All right, we're able to take his tower down. And this should be a pretty easy defense, and yeah, that's going to be a good game, guys. All right. Definitely a better session than yesterday. I'll give you guys the overall record now. Let's see. So we are 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 on the day, guys. And our ending medal count is 1834, which doesn't put us in the top 10K yet, but I bet we are probably closing in on that. So with that, I'm going to end this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.